Single mom to Leila and a seasoned professional with over 20 years of experience in the bathroom industry across the UK and UAE, today we are getting to know Katrina Tasbaz. With a background in interior design and a track record spanning specification, sales, and business development, she brings a unique blend of creativity and commercial know-how. Kathrina is a passionate leader and advocate for diversity. She currently serves as a board member for the Return to Work Mom initiative, a program dedicated to supporting mothers re-entering the workforce after career breaks. Kathrina is deeply committed to building more inclusive workplaces and regularly speaks on topics related to gender equity, leadership, and the future of work. Kathrina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. On this podcast, I had many designers. Recently, I had director and business development from design studio, but it's the first time I have actually a designer who switched their career slowly to more sales and specification. Yeah. Can you please share a bit about this journey with us?
Sure. So after school, I studied interior design. After that, I moved on to get a job. And I think I was young and a bit stupid. I did get the space to carry on my education, but I decided that I preferred working. So I didn't join, which probably was a mistake when I look back at it now.
You didn't join?
Joined to college to go further within the interior design qualification.
So you regret that now, looking back?
I think so, yeah, because I never got a degree.
In terms of job and career, do you have, in interview, for example, do they ask you, do you have a degree, and is it a stop sometimes? Or?
No, never. Not in the UK. It's not something that they normally ask for, and I always got jobs based on my experience. But here, obviously, you had to have a diploma, which I had from after school, so that was fine.
And the diploma is certified here in the UAE?
It's a UK one. It's tested here and there, but it's a BTEC national diploma.
Okay. And so why did you choose the bathroom industry?
There is a reason. My stepfather, he worked for Idle Standard, one of our competitors, for, 25, 30 years. So he saw me in an office job. He could see that that wasn't a great place for me to be, and he actually helped me to get a job with one of his customers. So I was initially doing bathroom designing, so I would do all the plans for everybody that came into the showroom and then sales. But then I also looked at his job, which looked more fun than mine, than being in somewhere all the time. So he was a sales manager at the time. So I saw that he had a new car every 1 to 2 years. You'd go stay in nice hotels and it looked like fun. So I decided that I wanted to move into that. So I was an area sales manager after.
That was in the UK, yeah?
In the UK,
that's
yeah.
Interesting how career are just, small decisions, small influence. It's not like you always dreamed of going in this.
No, I never dreamed of bathrooms. And when I was a child, like 4 years old, I remember running out and I used to tell him what the name is on the toilet or what the name's in the bathroom. And now Layla does the same. She gets excited. She's like, VitrA.
Because Leila spent a lot of time in the showroom,
yeah.
I mean, also, I guess. And how about, you started in design itself, yeah? How long did you design, and then how did you slowly switch to sell, or did you, from the beginning, were into specification?
In the bathroom showroom, people would come in, I would design their bathroom, and the end goal is to sell it as well. But I was working on the virtual worlds, like a system program where you design everything for them. So it was both. When I worked in a showroom.
Okay, so it was always both. And then now you are showroom manager.
Yeah.
Can we just because our listeners are usually job seekers or even students that want to go into career, maybe into design, sales, they are not sure. So if you can just explain what is the difference between, let's say, a designer for a product, for bathroom, for example, a specification manager, what does he do, or a showroom manager, if we can just differentiate and understand exactly what are those roles.
Sure. So when I worked in the UK, my first job was in a showroom. It was a selling showroom. So lots of people would come in, you would design their bathrooms, help them pick the products and help them until the items were installed. Just one point as well. In the UK, I was an area sales manager for quite a few years. So my role was to visit all of the showrooms, like where I used to work. So I'd go in my car every morning, decide which part of the UK I was driving to, and I would go and visit different customers. But all of these people became like my friends. So it wasn't really like working. It was going, chatting about my life. And then at the end, they would, what do you want me to order? And they would order. And then when I wanted to move here, that job doesn't exist in the UAE. Because in the UAE, you normally have maybe 1 to 3 dealers for each brand in each country. So that's how I got into Specification. So it wasn't actually a plan that I wanted to get into Specification. It was the only thing in my field that I could fit into. But with Specification, you have to visit architects, interior designers, hotel operators, and with your brand, you need to not so say design, but tell them the products that they can use in their bathrooms. And then now I still do that in my role at VitrA, but I'm also the showroom manager. But again, it's not the same type of showroom as I worked in initially, because it's not a shop. It's a showroom for architects and interior designers.
There is no retail sales, you mean, at all? Like, no, I cannot walk in tomorrow to buy.
No, we don't have anything.
It's
which
purely
is
B2B, purely. Okay.
So, which is a really confusing concept for the people that come into the showroom. So in terms of the showroom, it's just basically talking to people about products, giving them advice. Obviously, I have to make sure that all the displays are with the newest products, make sure the showroom is like having an extra child, to make sure that it has everything it needs and up to date, and that you're there for certain hours to look after it.
Okay, that's interesting. And so it's interesting that you said it's not even a job, because I kind of make friends, and I feel in this industry and in this role specifically, it requires this kind of being a people person, being like not scared to knock at someone from Four Seasons or from this big brand. And how did you overcome this, or were you always a natural on this, always?
It was really hard moving from the UK to here, because I had I can't remember how many years, maybe 10 years out on the road, and all these people were my friends, and we'd meet on the weekends, or like one of them is still one of my best friends now. And then when I came to Dubai, I would have to, it's a different field, dealing with architects and interior designers. So you'd call them to try and get an appointment, and then it would send your company profile, send an email. And I find it really disheartening about how hard it was to get appointments with designers. But over time that obviously picked up, and I was doing well in my job. But when I took a break, maternity leave, I felt that set me back when I got back, because lots of these people, designers like people who are going to reply to them instantly and give them the information. Whereas I wasn't there, and they didn't have someone specific covering my job. We lost lots of customers. So when I came back, it was kind of like starting off again.
How long was this break for?
9 months.
Oh, wow. Only 9 months?
Yeah.
This is so fast track here. I feel like you have to be there every day.
Yeah.
And how about competitors? Because also, for example, when I meet designer and they say, oh, for example, because I do a lot of events, and they're like, oh, we don't want too many suppliers. They're all asking for lunch and learn. And I don't know, it became such a thing. And there is competitor for bathroom, but also for furniture, flooring, lighting. I mean, and so how do you compete? And what would you say sets you apart from other? How can you break any door and enter when they already have 20 people asking for the same lunch and learn?
Sure. Lunch and learns are still a bit hard, to be honest. They book them 3-4 months in advance. I think that people know the brand, and we're a good quality brand, but also the service that we offer, we're fast at replying and give them everything they need, because designers normally, they have 10 minutes where you need to reply to them by when they send a project. So I think just in our reputation in the industry of how quick and accommodating we are to people.
You mentioned also a bit how your career was lead to people who inspire you, and how did you go from... But have you had many interviews in your career, first of all, or not a lot?
I don't think so, no. I haven't had a huge amount.
Have you ever failed an interview? Or at least after that thinking, oh my God, I should have done it another way?
Not really, but I've had jobs where I haven't been offered the job, but in the end it's turned out that I've got something better. So there was a reason why I didn't get the job. There was one job that they told me that I had the job. They even went into my current employer to ask if they can employ me, because it was a conflict of brands, and my employer said, yes, that's fine. And then somebody in another country decided that they didn't want to employ me anymore. So I was in my job thinking I was leaving. They thought I was leaving. So some people may have given up at that point, but I was so determined to have this job and move. I contacted all my contacts within the industry, and everybody helped me to get to this person who said no, to give me another opportunity, and somebody else interviewed me, and then I was given the job again.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I think that's a good example to not just give up on a no. And sometimes no, also, that's why I'm trying to say to my candidates that sometimes no is just a redirection, that, as you said, sometimes it's just not meant for you and it's to get something better. Because if they say no to you, if they do believe you don't have the skills, then maybe you will be miserable in this job actually, and you should look at something else. But I think lots of people that fail on interview is just because they don't do the amount of work needed to know that this is not the job for them, and also or don't have the tenacity to come back and ask again. And sometimes it's also not the right timing. So maybe you can just wait a little and then the job is opening.
Yeah, I think the right job comes at the right time.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to someone who is not sales now and want to take on a more sales role? What should they work on? What skills should they learn first? Maybe software, maybe what should they start implementing in their career?
I think that you need to look at what products you want to sell, and you need to learn about that product, and then you also need to know about the competitors within that product. Just concentrate on your goal of what you want to do, but to be specific. Like if you say you want to work in sales, not any sales, you need to like have a passion or a reason to sell a certain product.
What has been to date one of the main challenges that you encountered during your career?
I think people and certain personalities like cause big problems in your work. For example, I was taking over someone else's job who was already in the company, who had gone to a different role, and before I was there they already wanted me to fail because they don't want to look that I'm doing better than what they did. So the personalities of people is a big problem. Also I'm a single mum, so this is hard managing divorce and Dubai courts and all things that go on in the background, and then you still have to come to work, you still have to do your job properly. So life and certain personalities inside and outside work.
That's so interesting. There are two important things here. People, I think in my job is the same, that people sometimes you just expect that they will react that way, or when they see a competition, and it's weird. And especially you mentioned we're going to talk also about single mom and all, but I know how also even women, they don't always support each other. Sometimes they just look at you as a competition and they will just try to make you fail, and that's so hard to deal with people.
This is the one thing that I love about my job now. Like I don't think there's ever been a job that I've had where everybody is supportive of each other, everyone cares about each other, and there's not one person that will try and say that I did this, or there's not, like, we're all really kind people where we work, and I think that helps each of us to grow individually as well, because we encourage each other to do more, do podcasts or do different things.
That's amazing. I think the culture is so important, because I hear a lot of maybe a big distributor or where they have so many clients, contractor, designers, and then this account is for them. So they don't want to specify, and then the contractors go to the other account and they just compete, and it becomes unhealthy inside the company. So it's nice to see that at VitrA they actually care, and you don't have this type of... I think it's hard, because how can someone know, before applying that it will be like this? It's until you work, I think you cannot. And sometimes also you cannot only listen to what people say, because some people are unhappy in some place. So it's really hard to know that. Now let's talk about the difficulty as a single mom. You mentioned like you are going through, or you were maybe going through divorce and the court, and also how do something like this can impact a career? And how, like, for example, I guess as a single mom, you have to pick up Layla at certain time. So did you mention that before getting the job? Are they flexible? And how can something like this impact a career?
I didn't used to pick her up, somebody else did, and then they suddenly stopped picking her up, so that was a big issue, because the school, you have to allow like 2 hours to get there and go back. So Layla gets on the bus, which I was scared about, but she loves it. I was there to welcome her the first time she got off the bus. I actually started one job in the middle of a divorce, so I was in the only divorce I had. I didn't have multiple. So I got offered the job, but then I was in the middle of a divorce, so you have to have like calls on the telephone, like weekly, where you have to sit there and wait. So before I joined, I went back and I was honest with them. I said, I'm going for a divorce, I need to do this. But that went on for the first 5 months of my job. So it was constantly doing stuff, and it was a horrific time. But I had no other option. Like, I couldn't lose my job because I couldn't leave. So I had no other option but to carry on in everything that I was doing.
That must be so hard emotionally as well to keep going, and when you know this is happening. So they've been supportive as well on that.
Yeah, they've been really supportive.
I think that's an amazing culture as well, because some company will say, no, you cannot do this during the work timing. And I think also I know that Leila is coming to the showroom as well. She's even doing some video.
She loves anything to do with camera. She's the opposite of me. She would love this. I don't love this.
Really?
Yeah, no, she likes... she's a real people person, and she likes performing and singing and anything where you can hear her, really.
So I should have her in the podcast.
You should have her as a podcast. She'd be better than me. Ask her for all the truth.
No, you're doing amazing. Come on. No, but so, and do you think, for example, someone that's going through something hard in their life and they are interviewing, should they be honest at the early stage, or you think they will not get the job because of this? Or maybe it depends on employer.
I think that you should be honest, but then sometimes that could not go in your favour because people think that you're a problem, because they could assume that I was the problem why I got divorced when it was the other person. Like, they don't know the ins and outs, and I don't tell them the ins and outs of everything. But you're a risk. I'm a risk as a single mother. They knew that, and I was a risk because of the divorce. But I haven't let them down in any way because of these problems.
That's amazing. I think it gives more hope to some women that maybe encountered some no or some barrier at the entrance because of this, that if they keep pushing, I think once you prove also that you don't let them down and that your job is your priority as well, and that you still stay very professional, they will allow you to continue. But there is a lot of judgment initially, which is hard because during an interview they don't know yet until you are in the position and you prove them every day. So it's really hard. I guess maybe some women can ask recommendation in their previous job if they see that this is a problem when they interview, to prove that they are actually working well. But that's so hard again, because you have to deal with the professional part, but also the emotion, and that's, congratulations.
Thank you.
You joined the Return to Work Mom initiative recently. Can you tell us a bit more about this?
Yeah. You were asking for people to talk on the stage, and I mentioned it to my work colleague, and she was straight away, you do it. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. So it was, again, someone believing in me that I could do something that I didn't think I'd be able to do. So because of her, I don't know what the word is, encouragement to put myself forward, and then this is where we are today. And also Leila is famous out of it, so she's happy.
She's our brand ambassador. So a bit of background, actually, I created the Return to Work Mom initiative just for our listener. It's really a platform to support the mother that took a long career break, because I notice how women lose their confidence, and especially like same as what we talk about, some are in our group, some are single moms, some have 4 kids, some have issue with, let's say, sick kids as well, can be cancer, disability. We are all fighting a huge battle. Some are going through adoption, some are going through egg freezing. And I notice slowly how all these women are fighting battle on the background. And as soon as I start talking about it, I realize like how it is such a must, and especially in our industry, as we mentioned, is so fast-paced, so much work. So we really need to gather together and actually share our problems, and not only our problems, but also find solution, move forwards, because you are one of the most amazing example with this, as you say, like at VitrA, because you don't let it impact your work at all. You keep pushing, and that's what we need. And I think it was amazing that you spoke on the first ever event, and now we have Leila, who is our brand ambassador, and we have our next event. We are bringing the men to the conversation and corporate leader. That will be exciting to see a bit of because it's not only about the women, it's also about the men. How do they support, and how do we bring more, let's say, inclusive workplace as well?
Sure.
So now let's shake things around. We're going to go some quick fire question. So you don't need to overthink the answer, just short and snappy, whatever comes to mind first. Best bathroom project to date?
So in terms of a project that I worked on and I supplied, it was the Museum of the Future offices. It was the first 3D printed office, and it was a very small bathroom, 2 small bathrooms, but that's one of my iconic projects that I remember since I've been in the UAE.
So the interior, all the project was the 3D?
Not the Museum of the Future, but they built the offices.
Yeah, I know which one.
The little dinky cute one, that one.
Was it by Kila Design? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, next to it. Yeah, I can see. And so what was the kind of challenges you had? Sorry, we said short, but I think this is... No, I know, but this is so interesting because it's a bit of different, and I want to know more about this project. Yeah. So what was the kind of... Because it was completely kind of first in a kind, right?
Yeah, the first 3D printed building. But it was just... It was when I first started my career here, so it was like a really iconic project to have worked on, and something that I mentioned in my presentations, because it being the first 3D printed, and it's still there. I thought it was temporary, but it's still going.
What's the most underrated product in a bathroom?
In the UAE, I think for projects, it's storage. Like when developers build a bathroom, they just put a shelf and an countertop basin. In the UK, they would put units and everything. So a bathroom needs storage. It's not just to wash. So I think storage units are the most underrated.
Really? Because I would say it's opposite.
Really?
Because in France, we have so small places. Like you need to fit everything. Like my mom, she has a 70 square meter apartment, and she has 3 bedrooms. Here, 70 square meter is for 1 bedroom, you know. So but here we have so much more space, so we can have storage.
Yeah, but in projects, they don't use storage because of the cost.
Okay, the cost, not the space.
This is something that we need, which is not used in this country as much as the UK.
Shower or bath?
Shower. I don't like sitting around and wasting time.
Bold colors or timeless neutral?
I like bold colours, but my house is completely neutral and cream and calm and nice.
Same as your fashion today.
Yeah.
Luxury or practicality first?
I like luxury, but then, for example, luxury, people think a freestanding bath is luxury, and then they stick it in a corner, which doesn't make it luxury anymore. It makes it a cleaning hazard. So luxury, as long as you have the space, if not I can't even say that word.
Practicality. And I'm French and I can say it. Cheeky monkey or be beach? As in, you prefer a day with your kids in kind of play area or a beach club? Or?
Definitely kids' activities rather than beach clubs. I'm old now. It's not... Everyone's so young when you go outside. I don't like it. And I like to be in bed by 9 o'clock normally, so definitely.
Me too. We are in the same team here. Beach or mountain?
Beach, definitely. I like to be by the sea.
So last question, why did you move to Dubai?
Lots of reasons, but my mum is from England, my dad is from Iran, but he always lived in the UK since before I was born. But I always felt like I wanted to be somewhere else, and this was the closest that I could get to Iran and still feel safe and comfortable. So that's how I ended up in Dubai.
There is a big Iranian community here.
Yeah, this is what I like.
In this industry as well?
Yeah, Layla, last year she had 4 Iranian kids join the class, so I'm straight away friends with the mums, and
Amazing.
It's nice that she can see like the other part of her culture as well.
I actually quite know all the Iranian I know are somehow Iranian British. I mean, you and...
you have to introduce me.
Yes, I will. Before we close, is there anything that we didn't speak about today and you think could be beneficial to our listeners?
That it's never too late to change your life. That don't just because you've made this life for you think that this is what you have to do and carry on. Like, it's hard to change any element of your life, but in the end it's going to be worth it.
Oh, I love this one. I love this advice. No, because a lot of people, and me first, sometimes you think because you are in this job, because you created this is your career forever, but everything is like, everything you dream of, I think, work on it on the side. And some people say, yes, but I don't have time, I want to create a company, but but I think just start and ask the right question and just make it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Katrina, for joining us. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.